Pro Tools expert here at Wisseloord Studios in the Netherlands. And just introduce yourself, guys, briefly.
So I'm Paul Drew from DWB Music.
And I'm Greg Watts from DWB Music.
And we're here in Studio
4.
This place is amazing. We've had the very brief tour, and there'll be a bit more of a tour coming later on. But tell me what we're doing here. What you guys are doing here, actually.
We're here on a songwriting camp that we've organised. One that we usually do in the UK, but we thought this is our first venture out. Go out to a different country, find some new writers from a different country and culture, and mix them together. So
there's a theory here of you're putting people from all around the world, and you've got 20.
It's 27 here today.
27 songwriters from around the world, trying to produce music for.
Today, for this camp, it's particularly Asia, so particularly Japan and Korea. We say we've got some Japanese experts, some Europeans that are also good at the Asian market, and then mixing them with some of us English guys and some of the Dutch guys and girls as well.
So originally, when we were talking about this, or certainly with Paul, I'd assumed it was an education thing, but it's not, is it? It's very much aimed at production and getting these songs out into the real world.
Yeah. So all of the writers here are all professional writers. They're all guys that have had hits all over the world and very successful guys. So they get chosen and invited along to come to one of these camps. You've got top liners, guys that just do top line, and guys that just produce, or guys that do everything, and then we all split them up into different teams every day, and everyone just goes off and writes a song and comes back with a finished production.
So the idea is to write a song a day.
Yes.
Any particular style limitations you're going for, or are you particularly heading down the teen pop market, or?
I mean, it is pop, but it is pop of different genres. So, for instance, there's the boy bands, there's the girl bands, and then that's broken into ballads and R&B or dance,
Rock stuff.
and rock. Yeah, so
it's pop. It's pop, but every genre of pop.
Yeah, I'd call it.
R&B.
It's always melodic.
Right. So, okay. Yeah. So it's not EDM, or there's no kind of real slamming.
No, there is. So, I mean, one of the reasons we're in Holland is because there's some great EDM producers. So, actually, what we're trying to do is combine the EDM dance tracks with some of the Japanese top lines. So, it makes a new sound. So
tell me a bit about how you guys started. How did this all come to be? Because obviously we're a couple of years into doing this now, or?
We're about 3 or 4 years into doing the camps. As you say, so at the beginning we just did them at our home studio, which was 3 studios, 9 writers. The next year it grew to 6 studios and maths here, 18 writers, and then the year after it was 9 teams and 27 writers. So, but that was all in the UK, and then we did 6. That particular one was very successful, so we did it 6 months later as well, and then we've kind of thought, well, we want to take the brand out as well as attract new writers from new cultures or different places, because what really we're trying to do for Asia is not write Japanese music, but write just a combination, a hybrid of sounds, because they're not looking for Japanese, because the Japanese guys can do that all on their own, whereas if we bring a hybrid of West and East, that's kind of what they're wanting now. So, and therefore we need to dip into not just the English or not just the Swedish, because we do a lot with the Swedish guys, but mix into different, like the EDM from the Dutch, because that's also sort of leading the market as well.
So we've got guys from all around the world here. So we've got people from the UK, from
America, Canada, Japan,
Sweden, Germany. And quite a lot from Holland today.
Yeah, funnily enough. Yeah. And how does it work? Do people pay to be here? Do they pay to be with you, or are they hand-picked? Do they apply?
They don't pay. Basically, we have a network of writers that we know, And I came here last month as well to find the Dutch guys who I didn't know, and we kind of picked the best of. Really, I mean, it's not a money making exercise, as in to try and pay for people to come on the camps. We're trying to get the best songs that we can then pitch to our contacts in Asia and actually around the world as well. Because some of the songs that come out won't just be just for Asia, and as the markets are coming together. So,
sorry. So the theory is that the end of each day, each team has produced a song, and that song then comes to you in its finished format, or it could be a demo, or it could be someone's recording it on a phone. What exactly are you hoping they'll produce?
So we would want. I mean, at the end of the day, they'll have they've got to a point. Some of the teams will have got an idea. Some of them will have finished, or pretty much finished the song. But we go back and evaluate where they are, and then basically ask them to finish a demo. When we say finished demo, it is pretty much
it's release quality.
Release quality, because a lot of the songs we actually end up releasing, the productions get used as well. So that's one of the points. We want to get it to the highest standard we can. So the A&Rs really, they don't want to hear an idea. They want to hear a full finished.
So in the brief sort of wander we've had round, I've seen plenty of Pro Tools sessions, a few Logic sessions. Are you DAW agnostic, or is it just about the track at the end of it? You don't care how they get there?
Yeah, it can be. I mean, there was even a guy yesterday. I mean, I know it's quite popular in the US, but he was using Fruity Loops, for instance, which I know is like, it's yeah.
For those of you who didn't see, I raised my eyebrows.
Funnily enough, he's probably the
he's the most successful
person here.
Yeah, and he's a really successful. He's a dance.
Take my eyebrow lift.
He's a successful dance producer. So very successful, really successful.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of the guys, because it's mobile rigs. They tend to. The guys from the UK tend to be very Logic based when they come over. The European continent guys, I'd say, are mainly Pro Tools, and the Japanese are mainly Cubase.
But you don't care as long as the song is.
Oh yeah, as long as the
of a standard that's ready to present to A&R or to record companies or to whoever.
Absolutely, yeah.
So at the end of the day, as in the end of a day rather than the metaphorical end of the day, you've got a song. What happens if people don't quite get finished? And obviously they're then flung to the far corners of the world. What? I mean, do you keep hold of the songs, or do they often say, do you know what, give me a couple of days, I'll get back to you with a vocal? Or
yeah, so that happens quite often if a vocal doesn't get finished, or I mean most of the time the vocals do actually get finished because we've got enough time here to record a vocal. But yeah, there are some times when they go back to their countries and then they will send us a vocal, or they will send the producer of the track, whether that was one of us or other producers, the vocal, or if there's any other instrumentation they need to record, that can all be just sent over the internet now, isn't it? Because it's all open now.
So do you think, obviously, Paul, you're now the newbie on the PTE team.
The newbie.
Do you think, with the way Avid are going with the whole Pro Tools 12 thing and the I think Avid everywhere, do you think that could be something that you guys are going to make big use of, or are you already are your songwriters and producers and artists already using the other tools that are out there for collaboration?
They're definitely using the other tools that are out there. I don't think it would ever replace producers and musicians and songwriters in a room. It's never going to replace that. It can't do, because you don't get the same. You wouldn't get the same vibe off the person, off of a going over the internet. But so most people nowadays just are sending stuff via WeTransfer, Dropbox, etc., emailing stuff over. So I can't see how the Avid Everywhere is going to make that much of a difference to these producers and writers. And actually, I think the majority of the producers that I speak to actually don't know a lot about it.
Well, I think that's fairly true for most of us at the moment. We've seen what could be a great idea, but we've not actually seen it play out or seen a demo of it or anything like that in actual real time. So I guess on that front, time will tell.
Yes.
But it could end up being the greatest thing that ever happened. But it could be the thing that the solution to the problem that doesn't exist.
Absolutely.
Because we've already solved it with Dropbox and Gobbler and many other.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it is already sold. Although it would be, I mean, when it comes out, it would be interesting to do a.
It'd be interesting. I just personally think the other reason we do this is to connect. So there's 27 of us here, and someone's writing with there's 3 people writing together, but then you have lunch and then you have dinner and then so there's the social aspect of it. And what happens after the camp is you've made relationships which you carry on. So the actual personal thing still would need to happen. So it could help later again as relationships carry on and they start different songs that aren't on the camp. But I think it will never replace it totally, because you have to have that personal connection first. So hence why we're here. We believe in going and connecting, and that's kind of how we've started being successful in Japan. We went somewhere in the first place, in a sense.
So each day, there's a briefing in the morning or a session, and you never work with the same group of people twice?
Try not to. We try and we build a matrix at the beginning, and which is, we're trying to have it that you're only with a person once, basically. Sometimes you have someone will be sick, and then you try and move it around, and it ends up being that way. But generally, it's a new person each day.
So the start of every morning, Greig does a briefing in front of all the writers, and Greig will play a video from our partner in Japan. He's constructed it. He's basically saying the new music that's coming out in Japan. They're looking for songs like this. They're looking for songs like that, and then he'll play some videos from the Japanese artists that we're aiming for and that are looking for our songs.
And he's predicting the future a little bit as well. So so he's not trying to do what he's saying. Here's what this is, but actually this is what we want to aim for. I think the same as when we write songs for Kylie or something. They'll say, the A&Rs will say, "Oh, we want a song like Spinning Around," and they never take a song like Spinning Around. It'll be the next, the one that she would have done next. So it's the same, really.
So what happens to songs when they leave here? I mean, the people aren't paying to be here, but obviously you don't get the studios for free. Presumably the business model is you own the publishing, or you own the.
Well, DWB, which is our company, has a writer in every studio, so it's good for us because, our publishing company basically has got a song. If there's how many studios running?
So there's 9 rooms. We should have a share in 9 songs per day. So in a sense, So
that's basically that's the finance is coming off the back of those songs.
Yes, it's purely speculative, but it's worked so far.
So brave, but it's working.
Yeah, the camp. The previous camp which we had a few months ago had 1 or 2 releases, which doesn't sound like a lot, but there's not that much time. The one before that has had 6 so far, of which 5 are singles. So I think it just shows to get the right people in the right place.
And can we name artists, or can we say top 20-esque artists?
People, from the camp, I'll have to try and put my head together. Girls' Generation.
Girls' Generation are one of the biggest bands in the world, actually. Even though
they're a Korean artist that are coming out. But so that was Korean. It was their Japanese release. Group called Happiness. Another called Dream. That's.
But all in the kind of APAC market rather than the Western and American market at the moment.
Well, those camps have been aimed at Asia, and I think. Interestingly, it used to be we used to have to really aim and sit down and try and write a song for that particular area. As they want more of the Western style, it's becoming more hybrid sound, and so I think some of the songs from these camps, and maybe the previous one, will also end up in the West because the sounds are coming closer together in a sense. So we're writing a song for Girls' Generation. Actually, you could be also writing a song for Little Mix because it's quite close.
So tell me a little about DWB, and how did the 3 of you guys meet? How did it all start? And what's the plan? Where's it going? Discuss, I suppose.
So the 3 of us met at a record company. I was the in-house producer they brought in, and Greig and Pete were also brought in as producers and writers. But later on, and Greig took over the publishing side of the record company. Won't mention any names.
No.
So Greig very much specialised in publishing, which then I suppose this whole thing is a brainchild of you, really.
Well, I mean, I think we then, when we left that company, we came out together as songwriters. And actually, we were talking last night, we used to sit down and write songs every day together. But then as it grew, I don't think we very often, or we don't sit and write songs together anymore, but we all sit separately and do separate things. But it's become, I guess, more productive because we're all doing our own thing with other people. And now we publish about 12, 14 different writers as well. So again, I guess camps are what we're doing here, are a facility for getting songs written with your writers as well, in a sense.
So what happens to the songs? I mean, the songs have obviously been released, and you guys are, well, let's face it, you guys. It sounds like you're doing some good stuff, because the numbers and the hearsay kind of seems to speak for itself.
Well, we're apparently touted as the biggest independent. No, or was it? Yeah, the biggest. No, it's biggest, most successful independent UK publisher in Asia.
Well, that's not something to sniff too hard at, is it?
No,
that's pretty impressive.
Some of our Asian contacts sort of telling us that, which is good. I think it's because we're easy to work with and we're good. No.
Yeah, Greig has worked really hard since day one in getting the Asian market pretty much sewn up for Western writers in the UK. So yeah, he's done a great job.
I don't know if we actually planned
tell him that though.
We don't know. I don't know if we planned it. It was basically we just wrote great stuff, and that's where, in a way, it ended up being successful so far. So, but that's opening up other doors.
There are plenty of people who've said we didn't plan it that way, but the songs spoke for themselves.
And I think that's it. I think what we do is we've always done is sit down and write great songs, and if we write a great song, it ends up somewhere.
The number of times you hear from people who we all sort of cite as legends is it doesn't matter about the mic, it doesn't matter about the preamp.
Yeah,
it's about the song.
Absolutely.
I know it's a very Nashville thing to say, and obviously musically we're about as far from that as we possibly can be. But it's still about the song. It's about the way the song and the way it makes you feel.
Well, even here on the camp, there was 9 sessions yesterday, and there was 8, I would say, really great sessions, and 1 they got stuck because they started to analyse what they should do, and actually. The way you unlock, what I've been saying is just write a great song and use some tips, but don't actually go, we must do this because that's what they're doing. But it's more sit down and write something inspirational, and it actually, I think that every song that's been successful or released is from our side, generally because there was some inspiration at some point rather than we planned to write it like that. So the ones we plan tend to be good, but there's a lot of good people. It's the ones that go above that, which I think is the inspirational ones.
So you've got 20, however many in here today. Is the plan to grow them to have maybe a camp of 40 people? And if so, do you already know the people you want to work with, or are you always looking for new writers, new producers, new artists? Or
I think we're at the maximum. We're always looking for new. As in, we're looking for new people, but I think the size of the camp isn't manageable when it goes a bit bigger. It once was because we have, but basically we manage it, so we don't just go and write songs. We basically we present at the beginning. We'll then go around the sessions, and we sort of, if they're going off slightly, we'll bring them back to the track, or if they're in the right direction, we'll sort of encourage it. And whereas if you have many more, you can't get around all the rooms, so you can't have the input. We do know people who have massive camps, and I'm sure they get sort of good results, but personally I think we want to keep it to a point where it's actually the quality, the best people doing the best, and make it manageable. So probably it's doing more camps than making them bigger. And
so you're always looking for people. Do people find you? Are you how can I say this nicely? Are you picky? Do you know what you want in a writer? Do you have a set of criteria, or is it you might just hear something someone's done and go, that's genius, I want to work with them? Yeah,
so it's anything from top writers to someone might send us a demo and we just go, wow, that's incredible. Yeah, let's invite them on the camp, see how they get on. I think we'd have to hear a few. Yeah,
I think as well you get to know them a little bit beforehand. Yeah. I was here talking to some of the people, Dutch guys that were on, and again, there's certain people that are here for the whole camp, and there's some that you've given a day, which might be more of a test day. But I think I think it is about relationship as well. So, in a sense, so a lot of the people that are here for the length of time we know them well, and so we are looking for new people. And again, coming here was one of the things. We've got a lot of new people on this camp, but you then have to get the balance of new people with people that know the market as well. So
cool. Well, we're going to actually get the whole studio tour, hopefully, with one of the engineers here, and so there'll be the opportunity for the gear porn shots, and we'll also cut in some footage from some of the other guys as well, some of the actual the writers and producers and artists who are actually here on the camp. So for now, guys, thank you so much for having me, and yeah, let's call it a wrap at that.